And that's a second language for us.
What is up, YouTube? Here we go. Another day, another video. Today's job is I'm actually working for a law firm today. First time ever doing any sort of work for a law firm. And the way this client found me, they found me on the internet or something like that. And the way I win a lot of clients is being first. They reached out and I think within 5-10 minutes, I had a response back to them. And the response from the client is, wow, thanks for responding so quickly. And that always puts you off on the right foot, I think. So I'm constantly just trying to reply to clients as fast as possible. I think if you get back to them 2-3 days later, they may have moved on already. What I really want to show you guys though is kind of like, yes, I'm going to show you once we get there and set everything up, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing and what my thought process is. But what I really wanted to show you guys is my pre-production on this one. So like having a discovery call with the client was step one, really figuring out exactly what they're trying to achieve, what their needs are. And from there, basically what we did is we made a game plan. We have scripts, we have like a mood board, we've got, gear lists, we've got all types of stuff. So here, check this out. Let me show you what I do, and then I'll meet you at the job site. Here is the pre-production app that I was talking about. This is called Millan Note. You can see it right here, Millan Note. And this thing is fantastic. Let's just start at the home real quick and I'll show you what's happening. I basically create these little columns each month for I don't know why it's so sticky right now. I'll have to figure that out in a minute. But I create these columns, and this would be like September clients. And any client where I'm doing actual production value, planning, pre-production, that sort of stuff is going to get something here. So if I'm doing like a day shoot, camera operator, I'm not going to spend time doing this sort of thing. This is really for clients that I'm having a back and forth conversation with. We're really planning things out. This comes in super handy just to gather all my thoughts. So this right here is a board, and this board is for my client. And starting here, we can see this is client inspiration. So these are example videos that the client provided me. And this is basically who they want to compete with. So they sent this to me and I said, okay, let's do it. So right away, the client wants to film a couple things. They want to film a mock trial. So like a pretend trial, and they're using that simply to educate their clients about what happens in these trials. So it's all fake, it's all pretend, but just something that they can put on their website and direct clients to. And they also want to film reels, like the example I just showed you. So something that I do here is right away, I want to create like a mood board, looks. And so what I did here is I went through and found reference images of court. And these are some photos that I really liked. I liked this looking right down the center at the judge. Here's a close-up of the judge. I really like this close-up with the name here. This is way up high, shooting down, getting an overhead of everything. This is a great shot of maybe the defendant or the defendant's attorney. Here's the other side, like the plaintiffs, or maybe those are the defendants, actually. I don't know. And then I liked this shot too. So what's really cool about this app is about Millan Note is you could just drag images from anywhere. Over here, I have some Google images of court. Check this out. Say I wanted to add another one. I just grab it, drag it, drop it. And now I have another reference image in here. And if I wanted to get another one, you can see here there's also this save button. And this is really cool too. So if I hit save, it asks me where do I want to save it to Millan Note, and we're going to save it to Inspo. And now when I come in here, this is unsorted. This is the image that I just had, and I can decide where I want to put it. So instead of me dragging it into here, it's just a place to collect things that I've saved on the internet. And then I can drag it to wherever I want it. Super duper awesome. You can drag emails in here, music in here, anything you want pretty much is drag and drop into Millan Note, which is awesome. I'm just going to go back to, so we're in the board for my inspo, and we're just going to go back to the homepage for my client. Last thing I want to point out here is this is what is really going to allow you to grow as a videographer. Is you will see, if you make it further along in the video, how I used these reference images, this image, as well as some images like this where I'm pushing across. I used these to come up with inspiration, and then I tried to replicate them. So you'll see that later in the shoot where you maybe will recognize one of these shots. This will accelerate your growth without a doubt. And we're going to review some of these other things. So here I've got the script that the client provided me for their mock trial, which was, I mean, they did such a good job on this. I'm sure it was like a ChatGPT thing, but fantastic. I mean, it's got camera angles and everything laid out, which is awesome. So they provided that. They also provided scripts for all of their reels that they wanted to make, which was great. They provided, here we're going to go into locations. So these are actual office locations. They sent me photos. So, you know, I couldn't go over there and scout the location, no time for that. So I knew I wanted to shoot in this location. I really liked shooting into this corner. That's one that we used. This lobby looked really good. This looked pretty tight, and we didn't end up actually shooting there. We actually used a different conference room. So, but they provided that as well as a drawing, and just a rudimentary drawing like this really helps me understand their vision about where the judges table was going to be, where the VE was going to be, where the clients were going to be, etc. So really nice. Over here we have a list of the reels that they wanted to film. And I think down here, yeah, right here I have a little note with blue, and it says all the ones in blue they wanted in horizontal. But what we ended up doing was shooting everything horizontal and just cropping down the center for our reels, which was fine. We also knew that we wanted to shoot the reels in 3 different locations and mix talent throughout those locations. During the planning process, I had plenty of questions that would come up every now and then. Instead of emailing those off to my client every time I had one, I just continued to build my list here until we'd have a meeting. We would go through the questions, and once questions were answered, I would write the answers here. And over here we have a gear list. So, you know, my cameras, different lighting I want to bring, grip. I knew I needed to bring a teleprompter for this. We have a start time, a lunch time, and when we planned on resuming shooting. Also camera settings. I knew everything had to be 4K. I always shoot S-Log3 whenever I can. I knew everything here was going to be 23.98 FPS because we weren't shooting, well, except any B-roll. So we were planning on shooting B-roll, we just didn't have time. So everything I shot that day was 23.98. And I knew everything had to be on time code. During our mock trial, we had 4 different individuals who were wearing lavalier mics, as well as 3 cameras shooting. So 7 different angles total. And really the only way to sync all that is with time code. So I'm using Tentacle Sync for all that. Here was a list of B-roll shots that they were thinking about getting, and we've added to the list. I'm going to go back this week and shoot all the B-roll for them. So let's just talk about this real quick. For the reels, I asked the client, well, I knew I wanted to ask the client, hey, do you want like a low contrast, bright and airy kind of look, or do you want some deep contrast, darker kind of look? And when you ask a client that, they might not know what that means. So what's awesome about Millan Note is I share the link with my client before a meeting, maybe a Zoom or whatever. And the client can be looking at all this with me. And then I say, hey, here's some reference images. These are kind of like more bright, airy, fun, light. And these are a little dark and moody. And then I can ask the client, like, which one works well for you? And because they can see visual examples, it makes it easy. Of course, all the girls chose this and all the guys chose this. So that's what we ended up doing for them. Overall, this app, Millan Note, I had seen some of my favorite YouTube creators talking about this app for years now. To be honest, every time I kind of went and took a look at it, it just felt overwhelming to me. But once I got in here and started building these, it's just like a no-brainer. It's so easy. I absolutely love using it. I find it so useful for all types of different projects. And, you know, this stuff just becomes intuitive and easy to use. It's really, really awesome. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you. If it's beneficial, cool. I'll leave a link down below to Millan Note. You don't have to use my link. You can type it in the browser. I get nothing from it. Just trying to help out. All right, let's get back to the shoot. All right, so here we are, and this is basically what we're setting up. It's a mock trial. So if we turn around, if you follow this way, you kind of see what we're doing. It's not like a standard trial. There's no like defendant or anything here, and this is just a mock thing that the client wants to put on their website. So we're setting up a judges table. We're gonna have like a claimant and their representative. This person is not like a defendant or anything like that. It's just like an expert. And then back here is like an assistant. So basically, because I'm not punching in close, I'm not doing a lot of close-ups here. Lighting wise, there's not a ton that I can do. I can't set up like beautiful backlights and edge lights and stuff like that. So all I'm trying to do in this situation is pump a ton of light into the room. I'm trying to add to the existing lights that we have. And so what we have is, we had to rig this a little bit funny, and I'm still making some fine adjustments here. But I've got my 600X matched to the white balance of the ceiling. And what I'm trying to do, I put the Fresnel because I'm trying to pump a lot of light, and I'm bouncing it just into the ceiling, which you can see here. And that's just gonna give us like a little bit of a more spread out top-down kind of light. And this light here, this is one of my recent purchases that I haven't really shared a whole bunch. This guy, it's a 3 foot by 5 foot LED panel. And this is the IntelliTech, I think it's called the light cloth. Very expensive light, full RGB, but it basically, I can put a window, I can make a window in any room, which is beautiful. So anyways, that's where we're at so far. We're gonna shoot all this stuff wide, and then I'm gonna get in and get tights, where I'll be able to control lighting a little bit more and make things a little prettier. Just getting my first camera angle set up. This is literally just going to be a wide shot from the back of the room. We're trying to be tall. I wish I was even just a little bit taller, kind of looking down. Remember in pre-production that I showed you, I kind of showed a shot like this from the back, top down, that I really liked. So we're just figuring it out. We're gonna shoot everything 4K, 24 frames per second. And we're gonna have a wide, we're gonna have another moving camera, and then we're gonna have a close-up of the judge. So just going through cameras one by one. This one we're shooting on is the A7 IV. It's basically my C cam. Over here we've got the fully built out FX6, my newer baby, which is ready to rock. And then I'm using an FX3 back here. All right, so we are just wrapping up. We're basically like just tearing down gear. We're done with this room. On this specific shoot, the client needs me to shoot a bunch of social content. So we're gonna break for lunch, tear down, eat lunch, and then we're gonna go start shooting some social stuff. For my social setup, we'll show you here in a few minutes, but the lighting setup, everything is just much simpler. We're gonna be in a little bit tighter. They're gonna be on the teleprompter again, but we're just gonna use the small Amaran 2x2, a little bit of negative fill, a hair light, simple, nice framing, and we'll take it from there. So we don't need as much stuff for that one. So we'll see you once we get to that part of it. Okay guys, I just want to show off a couple of the different camera angles here. This here is probably the widest, well, it is the widest shot of them all. Basically what I'm trying to do is keep all 5 characters in frame. We had this like kids art on the wall right up over here, so I'm trying to keep that out while showing each person. So we've got judge here, we've got the, I think it's vocational expert here. We've got the claimant, the representative, and the judge's assistant. So that's just my wide. I would cut to it every now and then. Let's go back to this shot. Remember in those stills that I just showed you in Millan Note, well, this is me replicating those shots. I really like this in here. Got a nice little close-up going on there. This one, we've got a shot of the two of them at the table. I left the desk in here because I'm trying to show a little bit of depth, just something coming. We're coming across this desk. We're shooting across that desk. So I really like the way that looked. Here, the focus is on this guy. He's telling her something, but I like how I framed this. I went back and got some of these shots afterwards. We'd have people redo their lines just so that we can mix up some different angles. This here, again, I'm using this. We're shooting from the judges table, and I'm using this in the foreground just to show kind of where we are, so that when people go back to which shot is it? This shot, they can figure out where we're standing. Got another shot here where this individual, she is talking to her, so we're just shooting over her shoulder, looking at her. And finally, we've got one of the shots here at the end again, shooting over this person's shoulder to her, and then I shot over her shoulder directly to him. Kind of looked like, let's see if we can find it. It looked like sort of like this. Yeah, so between this and this. Yep. And so anyways, those are just a few different angles that I got that I thought some of them came out pretty good. There wasn't a ton I could do with the lighting, but, you know, we did what we could with what we had. Okay, guys, just showing off basically this setup here. I'm going to pause just for a second. Key light F22C. I've got the 501 reflector up here, and basically what I'm trying to do is kill off my can lights that are in the ceiling. I couldn't turn off the lights because it's a working office. They had clients coming in and out, so we couldn't make it pitch black in there. But so I'm going to use this to kill off those little nasty overhead lights. This guy here is acting as a bounce. And let's see if we pull around. I'm going to kind of fast forward through some of this stuff. Let's see. Here we go. This is, there you go. It's what it's kind of looking like in the Hollyland Mars. Shooting on the FX6 with the teleprompter. And it's hard to show right here, but right here is negative fill. So this 501 was pretty good to take the light off, but I needed a little more, so I went a little further back. And then I don't think you can see it up there, but let's see. Anyway, somewhere up there, I've got a tube light as a hair light, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so here is basically what that looked like. Pretty soft. I mean, you can tell here that I'm using some negative fill. We have a little bit of shadow over here. This is nice with the lines in the background. I'm shooting into the corner. The wide looks even a little bit nicer. I just didn't have it on hand here. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Here's one of the girls. For the next look that we did was in this little conference room. I'm using a little negative fill. First thing I did was took away these overheads that were hitting her. So we've got a little negative here. I've got the F22C. This is such a great light, just pushing across this table, and a hair light. This is all I'm doing, and this is the look that we're getting from that. So we've got nice little catch lights in our eyes, very soft light coming across here. Yeah, it looks great. A little bit of hair light up here. I think it looks really good. Last setup for the day was this one. Here we've got negative, nope, take that back. Sorry, not negative fill. This is a ultra bounce, so it's negative on this side or black fabric, but on the other side it is all white, it's bounce. We've got the F22C here, and I'm just pushing this light across. I've got my little hair light here. It's basically the setup that I'm going to use 90% of the time. It's just simple, guys. It's just a nice soft key light, either a bounce or a negative fill, depending on what we're doing, and a hair light. Sometimes I'll add more light to the back. I'll use the spotlight on a wall. You don't want to use a spotlight here on glass. It would just look weird. So this is that look. Again, I think it came out pretty nice. Here I'm trying to use some leading lines shooting into the corner. There wasn't a whole lot of interest in the room, so just doing what I can with what I've got. All right, we just finished, and big shout out to this guy, Dom. So helpful today. He did all the BTS, was helping PA, camera operate, gaffing, doing all of it. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much.
Hey, man.
How'd it go?
Man, listen. This is the man. For real. I don't say that. This guy, he knows his stuff.
Yep. Anyways, fantastic shoot. Client's super happy. I'm super happy. Dom's happy. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys gathered something, and we'll do it again in a week or so. All right. Take care.